G'day and welcome back for more Mission Improbable, and here I am at my base with all of this stuff going on, and honestly almost too much stuff going on, I think. I've got so many things I want to be doing. I want to add an assembler to the base because now that I've bought one, I'm able to build them. I'm also wanting to finish off this refinery building and wanting to finish off the inside of this. I'm wanting to rebuild the horrible Pokemobile thing into something that's actually functional. I want to build a mining ship. I want to do so many things. And I want to do this all still in service of that main goal of going up into space and finding one of these unidentified signals and getting something from the factorum. My challenge is deciding which thing to do first. And I think what I'm going to do is work on this base and get it feeling more complete, because I've been really happy with the progress I've made so far. Getting this refinery module pretty much done, I can add the catwalks in and stuff like that. But just to make sure that I'm able to make all the parts that I need, I'm going to build the assembler section next. Because we've got our full refinery, so with an assembler paired with these, I'll be able to make everything. Admittedly, I don't have speed modules, I don't have any upgrade modules at all, so a single assembler is still going to be pretty slow. But I could build more than one, and I probably will. Especially since the way I've been building this stuff kind of wants that to be the case. I don't think I'm going to build with regular assemblers. I'm definitely going to be building with the industrial ones, just because they're more interesting to look at. But I need to figure out a cool way to do it. I like that this refinery is at the end of the run. I don't want to continue that run to build the assembler section. What I'm thinking I'll do is actually move the rover and build the assembly section in here, in this spot. And that'll mean once I've done that, I'll have a space to connect off that to build a mounting for the rover that's going to be the carrier for the miner. Because I think I'm still going to need to be collecting a whole bunch of cash as I go along. I strongly suspect that I'm going to go through more than one ship. One of the things that I think would be cool about having more money as well would be that I could look at a few different ships, and rather than redesigning this one straight away, buy a couple more and then see which one I think is going to be the best to refit for combat, refit for a different role if I've got another role in mind, or even how could I combine them all together to make one much larger ship that would hopefully be more resilient in combat because, well, redundant systems. Because I don't need a bought ship to survive intact. It doesn't have to look pretty when it gets to the end of combat. Unlike something that I build from scratch where I'm attached to every single little block. I'm attached to every single piece and I want it all to look shiny and nice and new and pretty. If I've bought it, well, if I bang it up, that makes it mine. And that doesn't feel so bad. So that's why I kind of like the idea of seeing if there's, say, particularly with this design of ship, where I've got those, let's do this, where I've got these thruster areas here, if I could buy two matching ships and merged block them on there, this cockpit is probably going to be protected by those other ships being forward mounted of that cockpit, making it a not terrible control position. It's also protected from the rear by all of this bulk of that remaining ship. So that's sort of where I'm at, and I don't think this place sells any ships that would be suitable for that task, but let's just check to make... Oh, I did the thing again where I pressed the thing too soon! Or too late? Too late. I didn't press it early enough. That was my problem. Let's just quickly check acquisition contracts to see if there are any good ones for money. Gravity components... Ooh! I can make gravity components now, can't I? Silver, cobalt. Yeah. Let's do that. 26 million in a single contract. Okay, there's platinum. That's not going to happen. 205 hydrogen bottles for 2.5 million. I can probably do that. Beauty of having it directly connected to the base. I don't really care about bulky missions like that. I can still do them. Cool. Anyway, store. Ships. Lunar Arc. How does this one look? Advanced medical facilities. Oh. Med bay? I wouldn't mind having a med bay. Doesn't look like it's going to be a great option for slapping onto the other one, though. For merging onto it. But I kind of would like to have a med bay. That is all of my money, though. So maybe not. Alright, so I think we'll have... Consider one of the other ships. One of the things I've been thinking about as well, and I think I've come to a decision on, is that if I can find any upgrade modules, I'm going to allow myself access to all upgrade modules for refineries and assemblers. Because I don't think that all of them are actually available. I think they might actually be quite limited. Now, let's have some fun with designing around here. I'm going to poke this hydrogen tank and see what I can come up with for something that looks good. Because at the moment, it's a bit floaty, and I would like to make it look a bit more interesting. Maybe some scaffolding is the way to go. One of the things I'd unfortunately chosen to do when I first piped up this hydrogen tank cluster was I connected directly to one of the forearms. And when you look at something like this, it just naturally looks like it wants to be supported by those 4 points. And so the one on this side was going to look a little bit weird. So what I've done is I've doubled up the connection using a T-piece here. I'm going to put a couple of sorters in here just to make it look like it's anchored a bit more. Piped it through there, and I'm going to get rid of this middle one and replace that with support just like on the other sides. There we go, make sure I've got these sorters going opposite direction. That one's going in. And that one's also going in. We've got to fix that. I don't think it actually matters. I'm reasonably confident that sorters are ignored by gas systems. So you don't actually have to worry about that. Now on all the other sides, I've got a 2x1 base block here, but because I've got these sorters, I think I'm going to go with a full cube on this one, because I think it's going to look a bit better. There's a part of me that... Oh, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put an event controller in here. Just for style. Where have I got this? I got them somewhere here. Just so it looks like there are some controls for these tanks. So that goes there. Sorters are mounted on it. Then underneath it, continue the same support as on the other sides. Like this. 2x1 base and then half slabs into the ground. Yes. Yes. Okay, that's looking much better. Things starting to feel complete. I like it. Oh, I love my docking connector button. Just remembered that I should probably come in here and sell magnesium powder when I can. Because that gets me a cool 3 mil from just selling off the magnesium directly. I've only got 662 remaining though, so that's probably not going to happen too often. But, you know, it's going to recover this cash a bit quicker so that I can get more of these ships when I want to buy them. Trying to remember to pop in here occasionally, just to make sure that I can pick up any of those good acquisition contracts when I'm able to. At the moment, the ones I'm considering good are magnesium or gravity components, as I think if I focus on getting gravity components, that means I can kind of focus on that particular thing. And if you have a look at how much they're paying, 26 million and almost 68 million, that's huge. Like, yeah, it's a lot of gravity components, which means it's a lot of cobalt, and it is a lot of silver, but both of those are available to me. I've finished up some of these catwalks. I'm now going to access from the ground. I think these ones might need a bit of support, though. Something I'm trying to get better at remembering to do with these scaffold blocks is place them down such that I can then put... Where are they? Then put these scaffold frames on it to add that little bit of extra detail on the side so it looks strong from all angles. And one of the things I really love about the scaffolding is that you do not need to weld them up at all for them to look okay. Yeah, this is all coming together. Cool. With all these refineries, I've actually managed to almost deplete these batteries, fully depleted in 7 or 44 minutes. So I might just allow myself a small distraction by increasing the size of this wind farm. My power situation is actually a bit dire right now. I just added 6 wind turbines and fully depleted in 3 minutes. It's 46 minutes. or 30 minutes, depending on what's going on. I'm not sure what's shifting that power usage so much, but all I know is it's fully depleted in a short time frame. So my options for power are build even more wind turbines. I'm not even sure I like the 12 that I've got. It's starting to get a bit too much of a forest of wind turbines and just like feeling a bit spammy. So another alternative would be to build some solar arrays, but I don't think I'm going to be able to build something that looks nice and actually provides me with enough useful power. So the remaining two options for power, aside from build batteries, grind them down, build them again, deplete them and do that, which I'm not a big fan of, are hydrogen engines and reactors. Unfortunately, the base over here does not sell uranium, so I don't have access to uranium, which means no reactors, so hydrogen engines it is. Now, first off, let's check to see these tanks and see how much fuel I've got in all of them. They seem like either 50% or completely full, which is actually pretty good. So I could get the hydrogen engines going now, and I probably should get them going now. But if I'm going to be going this path, I'm going to need more than one of these hydrogen tank modules, and I'm going to need a way to get a whole massive amount of ice. And I think this is the vehicle to do that. Whether this is also going to be the vehicle that carries the miner for going out to get other resources, unknown. But this is actually, I think, a decently set up vehicle, because it's flat, and it's got all the cargo nice and low, that I could build a drill crane on it. Something that can reach over the side and just drill through that ice, because it's relatively close to the surface, so it'll be able to reach far out from the rover, because it doesn't have to reach down. One of the biggest problems I've always found with designing drilling rovers is that if you want to plunge deep into the ground, you can't go very far once you get there, so you're going to come back up and do it again. Back up, do it again, back up. Whereas if I'm mining something that's only a couple of meters down, I should be able to reach far and drill huge swaths of the ice deposits in one go. So I'll remove all the turrets, remove the decoys, repair it up, and then start building a bit of a crane apparatus on it, because I think that could be cool. And also a relatively efficient way of mining the ice, because I do need a lot of it if it's going to be my power source. So let's begin by extending this main line out so that I can build more of these tanks. I might even do something where I kind of put them on both sides. Uh-oh, I'm very high up for that. But planning out quickly to get to hydrogen engines, because I need to get the engines running before I run out of power. So we're going to rough this out and then get the engines built. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of having at least 2, if not 4 of these tank modules if I'm going to be running off hydrogen as my fuel source. One thing I'm trying to do with where I'm laying out these modules is I want the base to kind of sprawl. I don't want to build and fill in all of the gaps. I want to leave negative space in it, because I think that's going to make it look much more interesting. And so for that, moving the rover from where it's currently parked to somewhere else, I think will be very helpful. It might even end up getting parked around the other side over here on the far side of those wind turbines, because I think that could be a good spot for it to come in. And I think trying to make these pipelines extend out in various directions will look much more interesting in the long run. So, okay. Hydrogen engines. Let's take a look at the options we have, because I haven't properly looked at the DLC hydrogen engine, and definitely have not looked at it in large grid. Okay. So we've got same port orientation. This thing does look quite cool. The old V8 style... V10? V10. The V10 style one of this? I'd probably end up with something that looks a bit too similar to the current tank setup. So maybe if I'm going with this, I could do something more like the refinery setup. Make sure there's enough room between the buildings. Haven't done any crossovers between those in a little while. And the ground's dropping away here a bit, so I'm actually going to try and get this one to pop out underneath. Or maybe it could look interesting if one goes up and one goes down. Oh, okay, my power situation is getting dire. I've got to deal with this fast. I'm spending a bit too much time making sure this looks interesting before I actually put it in. I'm sure it probably won't go terribly wrong. Oh, right, my clones. I run out of power, my clones die. Oh, oh, geez, okay. More urgency required. I was... I was being way too chill about this. Alright, I think this is the orientation I'm going to be happy with this engine. So I'm just going to get one of these built. Maybe two of these built. And we'll figure out how to improve it from there. Oh man. Okay. Get these hooked up. Get that 10 megawatts of power going. Kind of line them up in such a way that I'm hoping maybe I can make some sort of exhaust coming off the side. I don't think I'm going to use conveyors. I think I'm actually going to use the rounded blocks. Because the conveyors already look a little bit strange. But this isn't a block I've actually used before, so I'm learning. Learning how it might look good. So I'm not sure that I'm going to use it the right way to begin with. We'll see. Come on, get these connected. Then I can faff about if I've got enough power. At least until my hydrogen runs out, that is. Okay, engine's running? No. My tank's not... Oh, wait, you're yellow. Why are you yellow? Oh, that one. There we go. Ooh, slidey doors. Now let's check the batteries. Are they getting charged? Yay! Stored power is slowly climbing. Okay, cool. That's something. I do wonder how quickly the tanks are emptying though. Not that fast, but also kinda not that slow. So alongside the engines, I'm obviously going to need a bunch of O2H2 generators producing the hydrogen I need for this, so it has substantially increased the requirement for the industry setup here. But that's just how it goes. Now that I've got enough power technically, I'm torn as to whether to continue doing what I'm doing or whether I should switch tasks to getting the mining vehicle sorted. I don't like leaving these bits unfinished. I think I kind of like the sound of these hydrogen engines too, compared to the other ones. There's definitely going to be situations where one looks better than the other, which is nice. I like it when they're different enough that you know which one you want to use for a particular use. There we go. That should help power situation. I'm going to cut these guys off. Have a look at... I got the rounded blocks on my bar somewhere? Probably not. Look at these guys. I think that one's going to be too big to look like the exhaust, but I'm thinking these might look interesting. Main downside of using these blocks as my kind of conveyor covers is they do look a lot like an exhaust, but being a half block, I can't actually put an exhaust on top of them. So either the exhaust cap sticks out like that or the full-on exhaust just, yeah, silly. I'm kind of thinking of just leaving them like that as they are. These lamp O2H2 generators have piping arrangement that's made me think it could look interesting if I do this. So we'll leave that one a little bit along, just give myself a little bit of room. But if I make long lines of them, making sure that I can expand this section further, that's why I pushed this so far out from the rest of my base, because I do want to be able to expand this further. Then what I've got here is conveyor junctions, so that every single one of these O2H2 gens can have a pair of pipes going into it like that, coming off those conveyor ports. These end ports, I might do something like this, but what I think I'll actually do is just put them as access points. Just put the little conveyor caps on there. And I think that could make a module that fits into my pipe spaghetti style, but still is expandable in a nice way. Not sure what I'm going to do about access with these pipes very clearly blocking the path everywhere. And I may have to replace some of these conveyor junctions that I put down with reinforced conveyors, I think. In fact, I might even replace all of them with reinforced conveyors. So we have the conveyor tube on the outside, then we go to a T-piece. These ones. Do that the way along. Yeah, that could look a lot nicer. Oh, maybe I should do that. Yeah, hang on. Rather than laying these all out exactly the same way, let's flip them. Every second one gets flipped. That way we end up with this sort of situation where you get a double pipe next to each other, then a double gap, double pipe. I think that looks a bit more interesting. Plus it might work out better for the catwalks when I eventually put them in here. Having a double gap space that I can access. Now, something I didn't think through that I just realized, I possibly should have moved the rover out of here before I started building directly behind the thing that I'm gonna have to reverse out of here in first person. Oh man, I'm gonna have to put a camera on the back so that I can see. I'm gonna have to get this stuff built up to functional and not finish it, because I do actually have a little bit of time pressure to get towards the point where I can actually drill some ice up. Because I of course could do it in my mining ship, but I don't think I'd be able to get enough quickly enough. Not for this sort of scale anyway. Keep flying all that way over there to get energy. One of these conveyor caps could so be a refill station. It's got the little gas bottles on it. And now if I build these bits... Oh, can I get to this cargo access? Yes, I can. I'm just hoping to quickly build these ones up, because then I can finish this Lambo 2H2 gen, and it becomes my cargo access, and then I've got refill and cargo access here for all of the stuff I'm building down this way, which is going to be much better. Excellent. Other bonus of this is once I get back from getting ice, I can then rework this section because that O2H2 gen is not needed anymore. How are my batteries looking? We are at fully recharged in 1 hour. Stored power is nearly half, is more than half. Excellent. That's going well. Alrighty, time to start refitting this rover. Goodbye guns, goodbye decoys. Possibly goodbye mudguards, but I'm not sure about that. They look a bit silly, but I kind of like them. One of the reasons I feel fine scrapping the guns on this is that I don't see myself doing much more ground combat. And if I do, I could buy a ship and see if I could fight it with something that flies, just to do something different. I know this works against it, or at least against something that's really minimally prepared, but... So that means there's something to be gained from trying something different. What I will take away from this, though, is that adding some interior turrets to whatever my combat ship is, probably worth doing. Just to have that extra concentration of firepower going out. It's not a huge amount, but it's something. And it's something that can fit everywhere. You don't need much space to fit a couple of interior turrets. There we go, nice and clear. Now, I've recently learnt how to use, well, at least to some extent. I won't say I've learnt it, but I've learnt it enough that I think I can make something that'll be functional here. How to use MRMOS, which is a script that's been around for a very long time, and it is incredibly powerful for cranes and similar things that you might want to build, because it uses inverse kinematics to allow you to have incredibly fluid movement of robotic arms. And that's exactly what I want to use here to build up a crane. A drill crane. A drill arm. So I found myself in a bit of a pickle. I've got my rotor here for the base so that it can spin around. I am going to need to clear out probably some of this to make this work. But I wanted to have opposing rotors. And the reason I'm using rotors so heavily here is that the MRMOS script does behave better with rotors than it does with hinges. And that's, I think, due to the fact that hinges have some of those limits that they can kind of get stuck against. Sometimes they just go a little bit past their theoretical maximum and they get stuck. So what I wanted to do was place two rotors opposing each other here, which, if I show you here, doesn't work. It won't let me place this. But I'm wondering if the weld pad might let me get away with it. I can move this rotor into place. The second rotor here will just be for style. I just thought it'd look nice to have them paired like this. Hey, nice. And the reason I wanted to wrap these around like that is so that the up-down movement is directly over the point, over the central point of rotation, as I think that is going to make the arm look and also be a bit more stable. Now, this is editor Splitsy talking, and some of you might be screaming at your screen right now, Splitsy, you don't have rotors yet. And live Splitsy will realize that soon, but not soon enough that the crane doesn't get finished. So we'll cover that shortly. Don't stress too much. We will cover that, and you will get to decide what we do about it. Now, let's just check if this bottom rotor can spin freely. Yeah, nice. Something I was thinking about with the design of this crane, I almost went for small grid, and then I remembered that if I build this properly, this could also be a grinder crane. Like, I could put alternate tools at the end of it. I could have grinders or drills, and then I can grind down like salvage stuff. I'm not sure that I'll actually end up doing that, but to allow it as a possibility seems like a cool idea. We go 3 pistons up, 2 pistons down. A lot of this is going to look a bit bulky and a little bit weird, but it's kind of a concession I have to make in order to make sure that this thing's piped and large grid piped so that I can use the large grid pistons. I could possibly think of ways to make this a little bit more compact by switching to small grid every time I go to a rotor, but I don't think I want to. That feels like the sort of thing I do after I make sure, after I've made something like this that actually works, and then I'm like, okay, I can make something better. But this is the first, this is more like a, uh-oh, my tank is low. Okay, you've got stuff in you as well. Okay, yeah, I'm really running out of hydrogen. So I need to speed this up a little bit. So what I'm thinking about for this crane arm is that I want to be able to reach off to the side quite a distance. Uh-oh. And that's exactly what these 3 pistons are going to allow me to do, because if I get down close to ground level, they're going to be able to push me out, you know, 12 meters, whatever it is. They'll be able to push it out a fair distance. Then these ones need to be able to push down. So I should be able to do 3 and 2, I think, for this, because then I'm obviously going to have some more rotors at the end for some finer control. Although, do I even need that? I may not. I may be able to make this quite simple. I may find that when I get to the end of this that I should have done this with Park and use hinges instead. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think that's enough motion control. I don't need to be able to twist the drill head, but maybe I want to. Maybe if I put another rotor in there so that I can rotate the drill head to keep it square to the ground. Yeah, actually that could be useful. And if I ever do end up exchanging these for a grinder, it could be useful in that situation. So we'll go one more in line. Then we go, could probably just go straight to the drills on there. I think with large grid drills, it's safe to put them straight onto the rotor head. I don't think it's going to explode it, but we'll find out. We'll also find out if I'm able to add more drills and make this wider once I've built this thing. See if I can make it strong enough and still stable. If this arm works, I may well try and redesign one so that it can plunge deep into the ground. So have something with not just a single elbow, but maybe even 2 more elbows. So it can kind of concertina up and then unfold itself to try and go nice and deep. I don't know how well the script will handle that. It could require some... It could end up pushing itself against the rover, which would be a problem, and something that I obviously want to avoid. I'm a little bit worried that that may happen here as well. That these rotors, if I don't set the limits on them, which actually makes me realize that I need to set the limits on this rotor now. We're welded up. Let's move things into a more sensible position. I don't want to have these perfectly up, but I want to have them close to it. so that I can get the orientations correct for the script, because the script needs to know all of the orientations of all of these blocks relative to the base piece so that I can figure out what each part needs to do. I'm going to need shared inertia tensor on a lot of these pieces. It's possible that it'll need to be split though. Share inertia tensor across you, but not the drill head. I think I'll leave the drill head separate, maybe? Uh-oh. I'm out of hydrogen. Okay. Well, it's a good thing that this arm is, I think, ready. Well, after building all of this, I do have this sorta, kinda, maybe working. This is being controlled with WAS, QE, my mouse, and it's really quite smooth. Like, I should be able to do some decent mining with this. I have, however, run into a little bit of a snag, and I seem to have trouble making this go lower than this point. I'm not sure if it's my setup or if I've actually messed up something in the script, but the rotor down there doesn't want to move much. It really kind of refuses to do much of anything, which means I can't get... Oh, there we go. Now it's actually going there. Maybe it is fine. Does seem like it's now able to go down low enough that I should be able to drill some ice, which is great. So what I need to do now is go find my programmable block. Run, give it a go home command. Then I should be able to press that and it will damage everything. Oh. Alright, let's go fix that. Probably shouldn't do that near my base. That might be a mistake. Whoopsie. And also my home position might be a bit weird. The setup for this involves getting the programmable block script in for MMOS and writing this configuration for this arm. Now, I'm not 100% sure that I've actually got this configuration right yet. It's reasonably close. The arm is mostly doing what I want it to do. So when I'm in this helm, I can make the arm move to where I want it to go. So I should be able to now go and mine ice. What I had to do was define in that programmable block every single controllable point, as well as all of the distances between them. This is a much more complicated setup, but once it's set up, this is a much more powerful crane or drill arm sort of thing. I'm still very much learning this, so that's why I haven't really attempted to teach it, because I don't know most of the time when I make a mistake. I know when it works, but when I make a mistake, I'm not really sure why or what I've messed up just yet. So I'm still practicing a bit more. Hopefully, as I get to use these more, I'll understand it, and then maybe I will be able to actually write a proper tutorial on how to use MMOS, because I think if more people could use this, people would build some really cool stuff. But I should now be able to go off and mine some ice, which is good, because I'm out of hydrogen. Now, this is a bit of a problem. I have not put the camera on, and I'm so low on hydrogen that I'm not sure I can afford to. So we're gonna try and be very, very ginger about reversing. Forward. Reverse again. Until we can turn around and get out of here. When I get back, I'm gonna need to make a new connector, because I won't be able to get back into this spot. But at least then I'll have some ice on me. Oh, crotch. Oh no. I may have wedged myself. That sounded bad. What did I break? Did I break anything too much? No, just build... Just, yeah. Okay, didn't break anything too terrible there. Oh man. This is gonna be, can I don't think I've got enough hydrogen to even put any camera on, because I need to fly to where I'd need to put the camera. Yep, I'm pushing up against everything. I'm gonna have to grind my way out of here. So I'm stuck there, and I can't move forward because of this connector. I found some extra hydrogen bottles, so I'm actually not too bad, but I've ground that out now, so hopefully be able to actually get out of here. Nope, crunch. I definitely did not think this through properly when I was building around this thing and blocking it in. Please no more breaking things. Come on. Oh, I think I'm clear. I think I'm clear. I think I'm clear. Yes! Alright, let's go mine some ice. I swear, when I left base, there was a rotor on that rotor head to the left of the base of the crane. Where did that go? What the heck happened to it? Oh man. I have no idea what happened to that. I have paused. I have exited the game, had a sleep, woken up again, and then come back in and reload and like loaded into the game in that time. So it may well have disappeared on reload because I don't remember it being missing. That is very strange. Unless it went missing and I just didn't notice when I sent the crane to its home position and did the damage up the top end. Very strange indeed. So I had a couple of issues that I discovered as I got here that have impacted my ability to mine. The first is that I had the script trying to rotate about, trying to control the position of the rotor at the end. So that was the position it was trying to fix correctly. And so I've moved that to the tip of the drills, which is where I really want it to be. And that's made the movement much better. The other thing that's made the movement of this arm much better is that I have limited the angles at the elbow joint so that it cannot go past 0, which means that the bit that's sitting on the rover bed, it means the bit that's on the first segment of the arm moves a lot better to allow me to reach over the side and drill like I'm doing here. One of the things that's really, really cool about this script versus, say, the piston and rotor keybind script, which is one that I personally used a lot, I've even done the crane tutorial with it, is that this one figures out all of the crazy mathematics you need in order to do what I'm doing right now, which is I'm literally just tapping S, and this thing is moving perfectly in line with my rotor, with my rover. It's controlling the positions of all those pistons, all those rotors, to be exactly where I need them to be, so that I can just do lines down here, back and forth, collecting all this ice and filling up this rover ridiculously quickly. And with how well this drill arms worked, I'm really sad to have realized something that's, gonna mean that I might need to completely rebuild it and figure out a way if I can even do this with a different mechanism. And that's because I forgot I haven't actually found rotors. I found hinges, I found pistons, but I got so wrapped up in building an M-Arm-OS drill arm, because it's just cool, that I forgot that. And my question to you guys is, does the rule of cool of this crane allow me to keep it? Or does it have to go because I didn't actually unlock rotors? Or alternatively, I guess I could pay some sort of bribe to a trade station, or someone could tell me if there's a ship they know of that has a rotor part on it. Because if there's a rotor part, that's enough. Because that would have unlocked it with the grind to learn mod. I need something to justify me keeping this. I want to keep this so bad. I've wanted to make a drill arm like this and use it for so long. Oh, it's getting heavy. I think the drills might be getting full. Yep. All right, we're done. No, not to go home. No. Wrong button. Ooh. Okay, now you can go home. So there we are. We have a drilling rover and a whole lot of ice. And it's time for me to get this thing home. I possibly need some stronger wheels, but that'll be okay. Get this thing home and get this ice turned into power so that I don't run out on the base. I'll be back with some more Mission Improbable very soon, and I will see you then.